We would see him coming back. We would see him defeat his enemies. And we would see him start a millennial kingdom right here on earth. Something is missing. See, there's nothing in the Old Testament that points to the time of grace, the church itself. Do you know what a mystery is? It's something that is unknown. What I've been blessed with here is the knowledge of what the mystery actually is. He goes further to tell me that the reason that he's done all of this, the reason that he has the church, later on in Ephesians in the 4th chapter, he lets me know that the reason he put the church together was to teach the angelic beings something about himself. It gets a little deep. You might not have known this. You probably thought that you were saved for yourself. You were actually saved so that God could put you on display to the angels. Because here's the deal. When he created the angels, they were all with him. The only thing they knew about him was, you do what he says, and if you don't, you got to go. One of them left and took 1/3 of the angels with him. All they knew was that God was a hard individual. All they knew about God was, he don't play. If you're disobedient, you're out. And guess what? They said, and once you're out, you're out. God said, I got to show you who I really am. So what God did was, he created man. When man fell, the angels looked at him and said, look, out. God, I'm going to show you who I really am, because y'all haven't fully understood my love. Y'all don't know my kindness. Y'all don't know my grace. So when man fell, God said, I'm going to put myself in me. I'm going to die for me. And every man that will place his faith in that and in me, I will redeem them. I will bring them back. So I realize that while I'm running around here evangelizing, every time somebody gets saved, the angels in heaven start to rejoice because they get to look at God for who he really is. The ones who fail, they get to look at God for who he really is, and they get to kick themselves in the tail because they are not what they could have been. Our purpose is that God might show his loving kindness, his mercy, and his grace through us, through the church. So I know why I'm here. I know what my purpose is. How many of y'all have asked yourselves in your Christian life, what's my purpose? How many of y'all are like looking for, what's my thing? What am I supposed to do? I just gave you your purpose. I just gave you the purpose. That should alleviate whatever stress you might be under. You've been trying to figure out what God wants me to do. I just told you what God wanted you to do. God wants you to make sure that you do what you're supposed to do, that others are saved, so that he can continue to show his great grace, his great love, and his great kindness to the angelic beings. Now, you have purpose. Y'all with me? Now that you have purpose, please go forth and do. Stop worrying about whether or not you're supposed to sing in the choir. Stop worrying about whether or not you're supposed to teach a preacher or whatever it is you're supposed to do. I'll tell you this. If you understand your overall purpose, the other part will take care of itself. If you're tone deaf, stay out of the choir. If you don't have the gift of teaching, don't do it. Don't worry about it. God will get you where God wants you to be. But if you don't understand that you've been blessed with the knowledge of your purpose in life, you will run around trying to figure out what your purpose is, and you're going to start to articulate your own purpose to yourself. And the next thing you know, you'll run off and you'll do something thinking that God told you to do it, when all God ever told you to do was to get out and show people who he was. Everything else is secondary. Coming here on Sunday morning is actually secondary. together for what? To praise God. That's a celebration. But we also come here to be edified. For what reason? We're built up so that we can go out. In Ephesians, he says to do the work of the ministry. The work of the ministry is to get out there and show people who Christ is. I don't know why we've made church so complicated. Why we have convoluted it with all of this other stuff. Well, the simple fact of the matter is, we were not left here to build buildings. We were not left here to get a bunch of people on the road. We weren't left here to have a whole bunch of people giving money. We weren't left here to have big ministries. We were left here for one reason and one reason only, and that was to make sure that people had an opportunity to come to Christ. That's it. In the story. Everything else we do has to be within that vein. But when you turn the church, that is an organism, that is a part of the body of Christ, into an institution that becomes an organization. Y'all ever been in any organizations? I've been a lot of them. You know what happens in an organization. In an organization, you get into politics. You get into favoritism. You have schisms. You have manipulation. I'm sorry, that sounds like church. It was never intended to be that. We are an organism, part of the body of Christ. So, I've been adopted, I've been redeemed, and I have knowledge. And in my knowledge, I know what's coming next. So then in verse 11, we find number 4. And also we have obtained an inheritance. An inheritance. This is beautiful. You know why this is so beautiful? Is because I've seen this taken the wrong way. All right, modern day times, an inheritance is what you get when somebody, usually your parents, dies, right? Right? They die, then you get it. Okay, the problem with inheritance in the Bible for a lot of people within the church was, well, how do we get the inheritance? God don't die. Then somebody got smart. I never forget this. Saw this on TV. And they said, wait a minute, Jesus already died. We got the inheritance. I said, oh, back up a minute. The son died. The father didn't die. The son died. The father didn't die. It's the father's inheritance. So, we look at this and we got to ask the question, what is Paul talking about? Well, who is Paul talking to? He's talking again to this Greco-Roman world. You see, when you look in the Old Testament and you look at the Jewish way of inheritance, something very striking pops out. First of all, in the Jewish way of inheritance, when the father dies, a double portion is given to the eldest son. Double portion. The rest is divided up amongst the rest of the children, usually the brothers. If there are no sons, then the daughters got it, but the daughters had to stay married within the tribe in order to keep it. So think about it. If I look at this from the Jewish perspective, this would mean that the oldest would get a double portion of the inheritance, and then it would be divided up with the rest of us. However, something interesting happens when you look at this from the Greco-Roman way of inheriting things. You see, in the Greco-Roman way of inheritance, under this law, the way it worked was this. They said that as soon as you were born, you had the inheritance. Oh, y'all can catch it. You see, under the Greco-Roman way, as soon as you were born into the family, your first day up on the earth, you